Internet, your friendly neighborhood gremlin here, and today we're going to do the beast exterior build, and today is a good day. I mean, the build itself is probably mediocre at best, so don't get your hopes up, but I have exciting news. Maybe it's exciting, and we are going to attend Fauna's birthday party, and I also have a casting question for you guys. And I guess we'll start with my news, because the rest of the stuff you're going to have to wait until the end of the video. No reason to stick around. Maybe I ordered a new computer. It should be ready on the 21st of February, which is exciting. It was scary expensive, so hopefully it's good and I do not regret this decision, because I don't think you can just take those things back. Anyway, mine's on its last legs. It's literally getting kind of frustrating to deal with. So I paid for one, and ouch. I mean, mostly it's just that tax was $600. So you think you're gonna pay one price for something, and then tax happens and you're like, oh fuck. But I guess that's the way the world works. But there isn't a whole lot to talk about with the build. I mean, the most exciting, interesting part is a telescope, and you can barely see it, but if I put it up any higher, it just would have been too far back. So it is what it is. But looking at the video where I told you the Sleeping Beauty story, it has more likes than videos have gotten in a little while. So I'm going to assume you like listening to me tell you stories. And we are going to go through Beauty and the Beast today. And I just tried to tell this like I did the Sleeping Beauty one, and having hit the runtime of the video, I had not even finished explaining the bargain yet. So instead, I'm going to tell you the Denmark tale, because it hits most of the hallmarks and also is weird as shit. But because I want to tell the whole thing, I'm going to link to a unlisted video, and I'll tell you the whole thing, all three tales. So our story begins with a very wealthy merchant who is called away because he's been told that one of his connections has failed. I don't really know what that means, but when he gets there, they beat him within an inch of his life. So not good. But at this point in the story, he doesn't know that yet. So he asks his daughters what they would like to receive as gifts on his return. The eldest two daughters ask for all sorts of expensive finery and that sort of thing, and Beauty doesn't really ask for anything at all. This is going to be very important in a moment. She doesn't ask for anything, but our merchant gets lost on his way home. They're not going to mention that beating thing again, by the way. And he sort of sees the light in the distance and goes to find this beautiful palace that's lit from top to bottom. However, there is quite literally no one in sight. And in the stable, he finds food and shelter for his horse. Provisions have been provided for all of the horse's needs. It's going to be happy there. So he goes into the palace. And there he finds a table set for one. And this man is just exhausted. So he goes and he eats this wonderful dinner, and then he goes and finds this beautiful bed, and he enjoys a good night's rest. When he wakes in the morning, he finds breakfast, just hanging out there. And so he's ready to leave, but he thinks maybe he should just kind of look around a little bit first. And he sees a garden full of beautiful flowers. And he thinks of Beauty and decides he's going to take some flowers home to her. But as soon as he touches the flowers, a beast appears. To be fair, in this version he's a horse, but I'm just going to refer to him as the beast. We provided for you everything you needed, but you are selfish, coming here to steal the most beautiful flowers in my garden. Essentially, the gist of the problem is that everything he needed had been provided for him just for nothing, but he wanted more than what he needed. And also gardens, and people in fairy tales are weird about gardens. That would be number one survival tip. So you find yourself in a fairy tale, do not touch someone else's garden under no circumstances. And the merchant is all oh no, please, I'm sorry, really, it's just the flowers are going to be a gift for my youngest daughter. And the beast says, you have several daughters? And the merchant says, yeah, I got 3. Beauty is the youngest one. Then your life will be spared, as long as you bring me your daughter. And this guy would rather live than have the only daughter who loves him at home, so he says yes. And as he returns home, he is greeted by his 3 daughters, Beauty, who's happy he is home, and the other 2 daughters who would really like those gifts, please. When he gives Beauty the flowers, he says, and I quote, "These are for you, but they cost your life." Now, it is important to remember, she did not ask for this. She did not ask for anything. And this man signs her life away for some flowers. It seems he is more like his eldest 2 daughters, rather than the youngest. And so, he explains, it was his life or hers. And her response is, I will go. I'm always happy to help you, father. And this is absolutely the most fucked up version of this tale, because in the other tales, normally she asks for the rose. So he's bringing her something she asked for. So it makes sense that she may want to go in his place because it was all because of her or whatever. But this girl didn't ask for anything. She didn't want anything. But they go to the palace, and they find it very much like it was before, except everything's been laid out for 2 people instead of 1. And in the morning, they say their goodbyes. and her father just leaves her there. And then the beast shows up to welcome her and is very much just like, "You're free to wander around the palace. Everything you need will be provided for you. I will come home at noon every day, but do not expect to see me at any other time." And like this time passed, and she was terribly lonely. The only part of the day that she looked forward to was noon, when her and the beast hung out and talked. And as time passed, her fear faded, and she grew fonder and fonder of this beast. But she'd heard no news from her father, and this caused her kind of a lot of distress. So she mentions it to the beast, and he says, "So in that room over there is a magic mirror, and if you just look into it and think of home, it will show you what's going on there." So she rushes to the mirror, and her father looks miserable. And then when she goes to tell the beast this, well, he's probably feeling kind of shit because he lost you. And then very ominously he says he will soon feel better. However, I don't know what that's supposed to mean, if he's just like gonna get over it or what. I genuinely don't know. But the next time she checks the mirror, he looks like he's about to die. He's so sick. And her sisters do not look the least bit bothered. They're just like going to balls and stuff. So in tears she goes to see the beast, and he says, "If you promise to come back in 3 days, you can go. But for no reason can you break your word." She agrees, and the beast tells her to put the mirror under her pillow and says that she wishes to be home tomorrow. And she wakes up at home, and she helps her father, and he wishes her to stay a little bit longer. And she thinks, I mean, a couple days won't hurt. But a few days later, she looks into the mirror and sees the beast just like stretched out across the ground, and she thinks, yeah, I gotta go back. So she asks the mirror, and in the morning she wakes up at the palace, and then she rushes to the garden to find the beast. He's clearly dying, so she rushes to him and asks for forgiveness for staying away longer than she said she would. And afraid that he's gonna die, she just sort of says, "I will always stay with you and never leave." At which point our beast transforms into a prince, and then they like get married and live happily ever after and shit. Okay, things we have learned today. Beauty and the Beast is a really long fairy tale. And also, a clown once went into Rodeo's house and did not come back out. I have questions and concerns, but we do need to acknowledge how absolutely adorable it is that Rodeo is the one at Fauna's birthday. I was so worried I was going to come in here and it was going to be like Melba or Hippo or something, but no, Animal Crossing understands that they are in love. And this makes me very happy. But there was in fact one last thing I promised at the beginning of this video, and that was casting question. And the question is Pate. I think he might make a really cute Rumplestiltskin. What do y'all think? But that is the end of the video. So if you liked the video or just had a good time hanging out with me, you could hit that like button and leave me a comment down below. Most importantly, let me know what you think about Pate. But literally anything else you want to comment is also fine. Really, just comments of any kind. Just kind of make my day. And if you think you'd like to do this again sometime, you could hit that subscribe button. But I will see y'all on Sunday. Goodbye!